Hello, can I speak to Slam?
Hi, this is Slam. This is Faith.
How you doing, Faith?
Hi, Faith. How are you?
I'm pretty good, and yourself?
I'm doing good. Thanks, for taking the time for this interview. You know,
Oh, no problem.
yeah, I'm glad because this is a real treat for me. I've been a fan of yours, since growing up. I grew up on your music, so I'm just glad you're still out here, still making that good music.
Thank you. That's good to hear.
So,
It's always good to hear.
yeah. And I just also want to congratulate you on the new album, Something About Faith. How you feeling right now?
You know what? I can't complain. I mean, things could always be better, but I looked at it like the fact that, people even care to hear, Faith Evans' music after all these years is definitely a blessing,
Yeah.
To still be relevant in some kind of way to somebody.
Yep, definitely. And I also have to mention, I was at your show a few weeks back when you did BB King's on the day your album released, and that show, it blew me away. You did an amazing job there.
Wow, you were there? Cool.
Yeah, I was there. You had that place packed and rocking, so it was real cool. What was it like performing in front of basically, I know you're from Jersey, so in front of almost a hometown crowd like that?
Right, and that's the funny thing, because everybody, there was so many friends and family that, I made sure was there, and someone was like, wow, it just felt like there was so much love. It was like a family reunion.
Yeah.
And, over the years, it gets, better and better, but every time I come home, it was great for that show to be on the album, there, the album release, and, to be at home with all of them in there, because it was like I was having a good time. And I didn't even know half the people that were there,
Yeah.
If I had, I'm like, dang, I don't know if I would have been as, I was just, I was doing it for the crowd. I didn't realize exactly how many people I knew that were really there.
Yeah, that was.
I knew personally.
It was real cool when you brought out Fat Man Scoop at the end too. That was a nice moment there.
Yeah, that was good. That was so nice of him to do that.
Yep. So, your debut album Faith released, almost 15 years ago now, and you're still doing music to this day. So, besides, having that amazing voice, why do you think you've been able to have such longevity in your career?
You know what? I think I am certainly blessed, to be one of the lucky ones. I mean, because I definitely, you never know, and don't get me wrong, thankfully over the years I have learned, I don't measure my success by numbers, and sales figures, just the fact that, like you just said, to still be making music and, even though it's a different walk with independence, with the numbers and the dollars, but just to even debut at the number one on any chart, the independent, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, wow, but, I think maybe aside from it just being a blessing, it's, I definitely try and not overdo it, you know what I mean? I just kind of live by my rules in terms of my heart, in terms of the time I take between albums that may have something to do with it,
Yeah.
And when I do come back with music, it's still the same good music, I don't try and keep up with a certain taste of what I hear all the time on the radio, and that's with all due respect, you know what I'm saying? And I'm well aware, having 4 kids, of what is current, but at the same time, I can't deviate from what it is that Faith Evans does, that my fans like about what I do. You know?
Yeah, and that's something I admire about you and your music, because just like with this album, you stay true to that R&B sound you came in with, and as a true fan of R&B, I can really appreciate that.
Thank you.
And
I appreciate that.
Yeah. What was your plan, would you say, going into making this album?
Well, first and foremost, being in the driver's seat 100% and just made for a greater and a more personal touch with the creative process. I've always, me and my husband, been very hands-on in the studio and stuff, but we're even calling another artist and just using the relationships I have. This is like obviously my most feature-heavy album, but it was all because of the love and mutual respect for me as an artist and vice versa. So that all just kind of it just came together. I think it was just a good vibe and the personal touch, the fact that it's like, wow, I'm really calling to see if I can clear, the sample, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And of course, I'm ultimately letting my team handle it, but, when you do things yourself, it's a different, it might happen a little faster.
Yeah, true. Okay. Do you have a favorite?
That was really I'm sorry, just to kind of, answer your question.
Yeah,
I know
sorry.
I gasped a little bit, but that was the whole thing, it just kind of came together. the way that I envisioned it, but having not done this before, in this way, I didn't know it would be, but it's exactly how I wanted it to
Yeah.
be.
Okay, cool. I was gonna ask, do you have a favorite song on the album?
You know what? One of them is Everyday Struggle
Okay.
and Troubled World, one of my favorites.
Okay. I was actually gonna ask you if you can tell me the story behind Everyday Struggle and what made you decide to do that track like that. Because obviously we all know used the same beat that Biggie used on his song of the same name, and I thought it was real cool. So just wanted to hear the story.
Yeah, well, firstly, I always kind of try and, like, even on the song with Keisha Cole, when I put that word in there, it was written differently, and then I ended up like, let me give a little subtle, back to B.I.G. So I put in a little hypnotized thing in the bridge. But with Everyday Struggle, when I was working on my last album, The First Lady with Carpet and Iron, I told them that I wanted to do a song to that beat. And they had given me the instrumental for the original record that they sampled for Big's song. And the funny thing is, when I started working on this album, my little 3-year-old, he always gets to my CDs and DVDs, right? I couldn't find that track for nothing. And one day, he pulls out all of the CDs, and bam, right on top was the track that Carvin and Ivan gave me.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And I called it, and I didn't even call him because I, forgot about it. Then I saw it, and I started listening to it, and I was like, okay. I started kind of coming up with little melodies, went in the studio, and funny enough, I had just done a song for Harvey Mason Jr. for the LeBron James movie soundtrack. So I said, oh, his father wrote this record. He owns the publishing, so let me see if I can get in touch, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So instead of using the actual record, I had my band go in and replay, a certain portion of it, and I wrote the song and laid the, vocals down and decided to keep the title just kind of as another throwback,
Yeah. Yeah, I like how you did that. It's a nice touch. Came out good.
And Raekwon came in one day to talk to me about doing something for him, the Capone and Noriega song, and he ended up staying in the studio all night, and he just went and laid the rap on it. So,
Nice. Very cool.
yeah.
I gotta say, my favorite song on your album is I think it's actually a bonus track. It's called Baby Lay. That one to me is just
Oh,
like a
wow.
throwback to your early work,
Yeah.
and I just love that one.
Definitely, and I knew, I was like, I don't think I want to, we were contemplating not, it was like a lot of songs. I'm like, no, but they need a ballad. The album isn't super ballad heavy, and that would be a nice little, reminder of my ballad. Thank you. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I've had that one on repeat now since the album came out, man. I love that one. I wanted to also ask you about your collaboration with Keisha Cole. You mentioned it earlier, Can't Stay Away. How did this collaboration come about, and what was it like working with her?
Well, I love Keisha. I got a whole different respect for her. She's like a little mini boss. But she actually, the funny thing, she called me 2 years ago when I was pregnant with my 3-year-old and asked me to executive produce her album, right?
Wow.
And I was like, wow, we had met before that and stuff. And talked, but I was like, dang, you like me like that? I thought that was really, dope. But because I was pregnant and I was looking for a new house and about to move, I really didn't want to take something like that on and not be able to really, carry it out.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to pass on it, unfortunately, but then she called me again. We kind of kept in touch, and she called me to do a song on her upcoming album. And by the time we went in to record it, I had written to the song, that she ended up on, and we just kind of did it, even exchange type of thing.
Yep.
Easy on my budget.
Yep. Okay.
And it made sense, because I like her, and she has a certain audience as well, so
Yep.
it worked out.
Now, that's interesting to me that she would recognize your talents like that because she's
Exactly.
younger.
That's always interesting to me. I don't take for granted. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I don't take myself that seriously like everybody. Loves what I do or even is a fan. So that was very wow. I like her.
Yeah.
She got a lot. I have that respect for her for even seeing me in that light.
Mm-hmm. Just out of curiosity, when you run into some of the younger artists in R&B that are out, these days, do they show you the same type of respect that Keisha has?
Yes.
Yeah.
They do. I mean, although it's not always the same situation where we end up talking or, on that level or working together. But yeah, I can honestly say I do. I never really feel, that So, that's something that, I don't, like I said, I don't take for granted, but it's always a reminder when I am out and about, because I don't really be out on the scene all the time. I got 4 kids, so it's different when I'm working a record or when I'm out doing something for work. I may be around others, but, recently I've been doing a lot more, of course, because I've been promoting my record, but, even with like a Elder Barge, I saw Elder Barge's album. We just did a video for his record, and I ended up doing features in Carrie Hilson's next video, and because it was like, wow, Faith, come by my video. Like, okay, so it's like, dang, I've been out, but I mean, I think that I don't carry myself with an air of, extra super egotism or. And I think being approachable, and it's nice to be nice, and I respect other people, and, for what they do as well, so it's not really, like, it's all about faith all the time, just when it comes to my music.
That's good to hear. Okay. I wanted to ask you, do you have something picked out for a second single yet, or are you still deciding?
I am still deciding, I have a couple of ideas, but I don't know.
Okay.
Me and my team are still kind of formulating and trying to figure it out, but we got to figure it out soon.
Okay, cool. And also, in the time off between this album and your previous album, you wrote the biography, Keep the Faith, and were nominated for an African American Literary Award. What did that honor mean to you?
Yeah, I actually think I won it, and I was like so surprised because I didn't know about it, number one, but I didn't heavily promote the book, as much as I could, but it was great to see how, people actually, how well received it was. And I'm still, now running into people now that I am traveling a little more, that like, I got your book, or people coming to my, little get-togethers, meet and greets with the book, like, I love your book. I'm like, that's cool, thank you, and I almost didn't do it. I was kind of like, I'm not ready to do a book, but then I knew I had some time on my hands, so when I wasn't going to do another album with my last label, and I decided to entertain, the whole offer.
Yep. Okay, cool. And I was also reading, you have the reality show, It's All About Faith, coming out soon. How's that coming?
Actually, it's not that show. I'm actually we just shot a pilot for a show called The First Ladies with me and
okay,
Reese
sorry.
Langston.
Okay, tell me about that.
Justin's mother. Justin Combs' mom.
Yep.
And she is basically telling about us and being friends since back in the bad boy days, and just having grown and had families, but it's not about our family, we're now both transitioning into other entrepreneurial ventures. Me with the line of hair products, her with her line of clothes and a line of wigs and stuff she's doing in the city. So, and it's kind of balancing that with having kids, especially kids that's about to go to college. So, it's going to be interesting. We just shot a pilot for that.
Okay, cool. I'll have to be on the lookout for that. I'd also like to know, what do you see as the major differences between being on a major label as you were for your first 4 albums and now being independent?
Well, first and foremost, the dollars are different, but on the other side, it's somewhat to be accumulated. A lot more of it is coming to me, and then the fact of owning your masters is certainly a plus. But it's definitely not the same marketing machine. So you gotta try and take advantage of every opportunity to play your part in promoting yourself, and your team has that in pocket as best you can.
Yeah. But
I feel good about just, I think for me right now, I'm not saying I would never do another deal with a major, but right now it just felt good for me to have a choir on my publishing bag and just kind of just making a whole new fresh start. At least, if I feel I want to do something different, I've done it this way where there's some part of my I gotta own my catalog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I need to have the right to do whatever I want to with the things that I created from my heart and my soul. But
Yeah.
So that's really the plus in it all for me.
Yeah.
But you never know. I can't guarantee how many units I'm gonna sell and how many dollars I'm gonna make, but I've had the option to do whatever I'd like to do later on to make those choices and make some more money and go through a time life still with my music. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As opposed to someone else benefiting from that.
Yeah. Do you ever, now that you're independent, do you ever find it hard, reaching your fan base who might have, there might be a different type of promotion now being independent than there used to
I
be?
mean, it certainly is, because even with the whole internet machine and everything, that is it's such a big cyber world, you know what I mean? It's like some people still don't know I have an album out, and I haven't promotionally covered even all some of my biggest regions yet. But instead of me blaming them, and I mean, the first week of my release, I had fans setting up sites like, your album is sold out. They said 2 weeks. I'm like, come on. I'm out here promoting a record people can't find. I went to stores personally, didn't see any fake evidence. But as opposed to me looking at it like being angry, I'm still got to promote and do what I got to do. I got to see the blessing in it. At least people bought it and it sold out, like
Yeah.
they looking for it. But then on the other hand, I'm still finding out some people don't even know it's out. So, it is different. It's a different walk. But, I did it for it, and I got to make the best of it.
Yep,
I
definitely.
got to do what I can do instead of, stalling things and wasting the energy, just trying to get it together and pick up and keep it moving.
Yep, definitely.
Put on a happy face. While you do it.
Yep, that's definitely a good attitude to take. I'd like to ask you about a few collaborations you've done over the years that I'm a huge fan of as well, and I'd just like to see if I can get some background from you on what you remember working on that song and recording it.
Which one?
The first one is the song you did with John B called "Overjoyed."
Yes, I remember that. I love John B. He's such a cool guy. I've been seeing him, a lot recently at the studio too. But we did that at his house, and I think that he lost everything. Like, I think he had a big fire and lost the house. But I remember recording in his house studio in Pasadena. We actually, started dabbling on a few different ideas, but that was the one that he already really wanted me to do with him.
Yep.
I like that song too.
Very good song. Next is the song you did with Eric Benet, "Georgie Porgy."
That's one of my favorites
Yeah.
too. I just did a song with him for his next new album too.
Oh, okay.
He called me the last album, and I think I was pregnant or something, or it was something weird where it was a crazy time. I couldn't make it happen in time enough. But that's like, my boy. I feel like he's my brother just from the first time when he came and sat. I think I was recording Motown Live with Shaka Khan, and he sat in the entire rehearsal for 2 hours waiting for me, and I had never met him. I knew who he was. And he said, I need you to sing on this song with me. And I think we went to the studio the very same day.
Wow.
I was just honored that I'm like, really? Like, you like me? And I love that song.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's cool that you're so humble about it.
I mean, like I say, it would be kind of embarrassing to be thinking that, oh my God, how do y'all love me? And they be like, who are you again? No. I mean, I don't know. I've always kind of been that way. I don't really, I know so many talented people that may never even see the light of day in terms of being a well-known artist, so I just don't really,
Yeah.
I think there's so much talent in the world, it's not, it's hard to measure, so I certainly wouldn't try and measure myself and think I'm better or less than, I am just me, and I definitely try to appreciate when people, like, receive my gift.
Yeah.
That's really all I can do.
It's very fair. The song you have with DMX, "How's It Going Down"?
You know what? I don't think I got to record that song with him.
Okay.
But we did the other song. I think we were in the studio together. No. He came to my hotel in Miami at 3 in the morning, and made my husband wake me up, tell me about that song.
Oh, really?
That he wanted me to record with him. Actually, I remember it.
Wow.
And it ended up, that's like a real nice little, people like that joint. Hip hop heads like that joint.
Definitely. I love that one. And, I got to ask you about the song you mentioned earlier, which is your new collaboration with El DeBarge, "Lay With You." I'm loving that song. Tell me about it.
That's one of the times that I was really nervous in the studio because that is El DeBarge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're an R&B head, so you understand. I was like nervous. I'm used to being in the studio with just me and my engineer, maybe my little who are people I may write with and work with, but I was so, I'm so, and Ron Fair is amazing, so they made me feel really comfortable, but I was just like, wow, that's Elder Barge, and the song came out amazing. Like when I hear what they did with it, just to know how nervous I was when I was in there singing it.
Damn. Yeah, I love that song. I think that could be a big hit. It's real good.
We've been doing a lot of stuff together since then. He and I keep in touch a lot. I always send him little messages of prayer on the road, be safe, God bless. He's a sweet guy.
Oh, that's
great. He's a really cool guy.
That's great.
Just to imagine that before I was anybody's state actor as an artist, I was really used to, look at them, read all them credits and just look at the pictures like, oh my God.
Yep. Wow. Cool. There's a song I want to get some background on. It's from the Biggie Duets album called 1970 something. I believe the chorus was written by Static Major, who I'm a big fan of. I was wondering if you had a chance to work with him on that, or how'd that go down?
I did, and they had actually had the demo done, because a lot of the vocals were done in different places with the other artists.
Yeah.
So it was already demoed when I got it.
Oh, I see.
I was working on something too, my last album, and then I did that while I was in the studio working on something else.
Oh, okay. Did you ever have a chance to meet him at any point in your career?
I met him, but that was back when they were still together as a group.
Yeah, okay.
When I used to be with Missy a lot. I think they might have come to my apartment with Missy a couple of times.
Yep.
But I wanted to work with him on my last album really, really badly. And I think he wrote to a track I sent him, and we weren't in the same town. I wanted to work with him,
Yeah.
But he was such a talent.
Yeah, definitely. I mentioned all these collaborations, but you've also made collaborations with the whole Bad Boy roster from back in the day, like 112, Carl Thomas, and even, Puffy. And I know you recently did a song with Slim from 112 for his solo album, but, do you ever see yourself in the future collaborating with any of these artists again?
Yes. Actually, me and Carl have been in touch quite a bit.
Oh, great.
Definitely going to do something again, because he's working on a new album, too.
Oh, yeah.
But we kind of keep in touch over the years, and me and Slim, me and all the guys from 112 are still cool. Me and Q are actually about to do a song together for his album.
Oh, cool.
So, I'm cool with everybody for the most part. I mean, unless they have a problem with me, I don't really, I don't like having confrontational things with people. And, I've always kind of been pretty much cool with everybody. I don't have any hard feelings. Me and Puff are cool.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So.
Speaking of Puff, I'm just curious, what was he like in the studio in terms of the control he had over your music? Did he really just let you do your thing, or was he trying to, guide it? Or tell me about that.
He certainly had. He knew what he was doing in that, if it was an artist, and I'm not saying that I know who they were, but I'm sure if there was an artist that he knew he couldn't just leave in the studio, he would make sure there were the right writers or something there. But I was one of the artists he definitely knew, because I didn't have to be in the studio with him to make a hit record. You know what I mean? I would sometimes call him and see if he liked the direction I'm going in, but for the most part, he'd say, play it over the phone. I love it. Or nah, you got it. It's all good.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
But he knew he knew that much for him to know that. So, I was definitely always pretty much in the studio. I won't say in control, but because I didn't take that position back then so much, but I was definitely, much producing myself as opposed to taking that credit for it. But you know what I'm saying? I was, not that he didn't play a part in the overall production of the songs, but I was always producing my vocals, and just me and whoever did the track and the engineer. And then, when the track is done, just me and the engineer.
Yep.
Back then, I really didn't even write with a bunch of people. Like now, I'm a lot more willing because, just the time of it as well, because I have a family, so I write with other people and I do work on my material. And it allows them to get a chance to get their names out there, and we help them with getting their publishing game together, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which my next book is kind of going to be about, stuff like that, because I'm always kind of trying to point people in the right direction. And they're like, you should write a book about that.
Cool. So you're working on another book currently?
Yes, actually, I just kind of started on the proposal for it.
Okay.
But it's kind of like going to be a handbook. I guess an informational companion from like the artist, writer, producer perspective.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
just the things that I've learned. I mean, there's a lot I still have yet to learn, but things that I do know quite a bit about because I've been very hands-on with it over the years by trial and error, you know.
Hmm. Cool. You see yourself continuing to make music into the future?
Hmm. You know, I don't, right now, I can't see there being an end to it, you know, for as long as I have that drive in me and that passion to do it. And people are out there like, say, when are you coming back? With some more music, you know? And I'm going to keep doing it. I mean, as far as, you know, I've definitely got plans to start working on my next album very soon. I'm going to surprise my fans.
Wow.
Like, it's going to be another few years. Like, maybe not, you know, but I tend to make decisions based on not those things, just on the things I have to do with every single day, regardless to whether I have a record deal or not, to whether I can sing or not, you know what I'm saying? So, I definitely have to, you know, and I appreciate them for understanding that, you know.
Yeah.
And maybe that helps too with my being able to still come back, because, you know, some people do have a heart and understand those things, you know.
Yep. Well, you know, speaking on behalf of all your fans, please never stop. We want to continue hearing you forever.
Oh, please, trust me. As long as someone like you, who's even on the other side, you know, but you still are a fan of real music and you're an R&B fan, obviously, you know. So that gives it a whole different perspective, you know. It's like, okay, that's what I'm saying. That's like appeared to me, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So,
Cool.
and I'm sure if I saw you in the street, it would be just the same thing. And I didn't know that you were a journalist,
Yep.
you know.
Yep.
So that's a wonderful thing.
Exactly.
You never know how you touch people.
Yep. I want to get your opinion. Do you have a favorite album, like of your albums from throughout your career?
I think I have yet to make that.
Okay.
That would be the best answer.
Okay, that's fair. So that's all I actually had prepared. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I mention I'm launching a line of hair products. I kind of mentioned it, but yeah, that's kind of part of what the show's about too. I'm going into business with my friend Richard Glass. He has a line of hair products called Glass Hair Products, and they are, you know, it's like right now 4 styling products, but they're amazing, and I'm kind of joining forces with his brand to kind of help launch it. So, you know, aside from, I'm starring in the biopic about Florence Ballard. I was chosen to play the lead.
Cool.
In that movie, and it starts filming in January, so yeah, I'm excited about that too.
Okay, very nice. Well, Faith, you know, thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure speaking with you, and I wish you the best of luck in the future.
Thank you, and it's my pleasure. Are you in New York? Oh, you are in New York. You said you were at the show.
In New York.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe next time if you get a chance, I would, you know, and I'm somewhere and you're there, I would definitely like to say hello.
Okay, that'd be great. Thanks so much, Faith.
All right. Have a good one.
All right, you too. Bye.